Excuse me. Okay. Order share, wish to bolster my retinue with skilled fighters. Oh, you can hire people. Mercenary system, very cool. I'd like to order the shipping and transportation of some goods. Oh, so you can do it remotely with people. So I've got Thunderfang, which is these guys. Cool, cool. Okay, okay. What else does he offer? My retinue and I are in need of training. Ah, select a character to reset their progress so you can respec people. Oh, lovely. Amazing. That makes me feel actually much better. I realise we're doing some very heretical things. Yeah, we're becoming a proper heretic. Woohoo. Cool. I see Idira down here. Let's talk to her. Is she voiced? A tall, middle-aged woman stares straight ahead, her eyes vacant as she rubs the implant at her temple. Her collar is undone and one of the clasps is on the verge of falling off. Sensing your presence, Idira turns her head towards you and offers you a crooked smile, even as her eyes look right through you. You seem to have a very strong reaction to what Argenta said by the broken lens.
It was just my nerves playing
Ah,
up.
beautiful.
Something about our little saint doesn't sit right with me, and I trust my gut. Oh sure, she seems straight as an arrow and as predictable as a hangover after drinking. But when I look at her, something about her makes my brain itch.
Wouldn't it be great if Argenta was actually a heretic as well? Me and her can be buddies.
After that conversation, I tried to listen to what was being said about her. Beyond the door, what I heard was strange. Blood in her past, twilight in her present, and something like a star leading her. But where is it leading her? I saw several roads, and all of them frightened me.
Maybe we should warn Argenta.
Oh yeah, you go ahead and tell her the wicked Psyker has divined something about her. She'll be so pleased and grateful, and of course she'll listen to what you have to say. No, that would be pointless. And anyway, I'm not even sure what it all means. Maybe the danger is to her? Or maybe the danger's coming from her.
Oh. Awareness succeeded. Idira's voice, is full of animosity, but you also detect concern, even a hint of pity and compassion. Where do you come from?
Lyra, an outlying world in the Heathen Stars region. In the Coronis Expanse, the deeper you go, the less visible the Astronomicon gets, and the less people know about the Imperium. The arrival of a rogue trader is the best thing that can happen to a world like that. The very best.
Tell me about Lyra?
It's an out-of-the-way planetoid between two faint stars. On Lyra, a dozen local tyrants fight over 5 measly continents. But they use everything they can to win, from poison to psychers. I haven't been there in many years, but there's nothing for me to miss. Trust me. But here on the ship is a different story altogether. I saw more wonders in my first year serving Lady von Valancius than I'd seen in my whole life on Lyra. Like my first journey through the warp, I was in bed for 3 days. I felt like supernovas were exploding in my head. I only found out later that I'd gotten off easy. Just through the bulkhead in the bay next to mine, a whole team turned into... Look at me rambling on, Lord Captain. Pay no attention.
Hey, finish your story.
It wasn't like it was a very fun trip, Lord Captain. But look, if you want to be entertained, I'm the woman for the job. I'll entertain you with one of the stories from my collection, no problem. But if you want to hear about the time I melted everyone in the bay next door, well, I just don't really want to go into the details on that one, alright?
Okay. What did you do before you came on the ship?
Oh, I embroidered wall hangings in honor of our national heroes. I did the same thing I do here, Lord Captain. Divining. Our rulers prized the ability to see into the future. Every psyker that could be found was worth a small fortune on Lyra. There's no such thing as a peaceful life on Lyra. People like me were especially sought after. They'd pick psychers up wherever they found them, buy kids off their parents, even just abduct them. Take me, for instance. I got taken from my street gang. The older kids sold me when they noticed there was something off about me. The ruling dynasties had schools where they trained us and beat us black and blue. And then they packed us off to serve. Some of us held on for a long time, but others didn't last. Not everyone's as smart and talented as me, you know. Some people crossed the line and were out of commission before their time.
How did you end up in the Rogue Trader's service?
Theodora von Valances paid a visit to the ruler I was serving at the time. I don't know what the visit was for, and it's no business of mine anyway. I can still remember the way the voices in my head changed when I looked at her. They were practically screaming. She had so much behind her, and plenty ahead of her too. As I gawped at her, all of a sudden I heard a whisper. A hint, a suggestion, nothing more. But I know the difference between idle chatter and a real threat. I seized my chance and approached Theodora. I managed to whisper a couple of words in her ear before the wardens dragged me away. They beat me and locked me up. No wonder. It wasn't my place to converse with outsiders. And then Theodora's people came for me. They broke down the wall, butchered the guards. Also, I could tell them my warning in full. So I said the rest, but I didn't want to go back to my old life. And so I entered the service of the Von Valances dynasty.
Talk about something else.
Of course, Lord Captain.
I'd like to hear your augury, Idira. What awaits me in the future? Yeah.
All right. Let's hear what they're whispering about you.
Idira laughs and rubs her hands together suddenly freezes in a vacant smile on her face, her head slightly tilted. You feel goosebumps appear on your skin and your collar begins to waver ever so slightly, as if moved by a breeze from a half-open door.
Seek not on firm ground, but in a golden hall suspended in the void. There waits a child without kin, but with a name blind to truth. She draws the brush across the canvas and does not notice that her palette is full not of paint, but of blood. And with each smear, this well does not deplete, but fills and fills up to the brim. One thing is clear. When this vessel overflows, none will remain unstained. Among the blind men and false prophets, a red-robed sage seeks the answer to a question. He does not know that it is not the answer he must seek, but the question that will draw everything into focus. Will you help him, Rogue Trader? But mark that sometimes ignorance is sweeter than oblivion. A chained hound chases after glimmers of the aurora, but sparks in the scent of oil confound his nose. A chain trails after him. What will happen if you pick it up? Will you become his mistress? Or merely another beast in the pack of his true lord? The glow of dawn bursts forth from its prison. Dungeon walls cannot contain the dark essence wallowing in the dust. A naive cub pushes his nose into a familiar hand, one that holds death in twisted glass. Cherish it or cast it off as a burden. The sword of change has already been raised. What is one more life to it? I'm sorry, Lord Captain. The voices are going wild. I can't make out a thing. I'll try to rein them in, somehow. But for now...
things are strained between you and Argenta, isn't that right?
The little sister is afflicted with her own set of voices. Ones that whisper to her about corruption and heresy. silly girl doesn't realize that if she wants to find the source, she needs to start by looking in her own head.
Cool. I must take my leave.
Of course. Always at your service. Whenever you need me.
Hey. Dear, it's a little crazy. Where is Argenta? Is she around somewhere? Let's have a chat with Argenta. Ah, there she is. Hey, girl. It's just Argenta looks tired. There are dark circles under her eyes. Her hair is somewhat disheveled, and she moves like she's a little on the edge. You said you have a personal request for me.
I indeed have a request, rogue trader.
What? Nothing? Come on now. The accursed servants of chaos who assaulted this ship took the lives of your loyal crew members, and they orphaned many children, including the progeny of brave officers who defended their posts until the bitter end. I don't know what customary practices there are for cases like this in the Von Valancius territory, but in the world I'm familiar with, the children of such brave souls could expect to receive some special consideration. Perhaps the road trader could meet with the orphans. I will meet with them. No formalities needed. These are children of the people who gave their lives for the Von Valancius dynasty. My consideration is the least that they deserve. I will pass on your instructions. Thank you for taking my request to heart. Alright. A little disappointed that wasn't voiced, but okay. Motley crew of adolescents do not take their eyes off you, gazing at you as if you were a creature straight from a fairy tale. Our indefatigable sister has been keeping an eye on these pups. It is hardly the Scholar Progenium in here, but we have provided the orphans on our ship with adequate care and instruction. Brave ones, the master of the ship has appeared before you, the one who guides it through the darkness and of the universe by the Emperor's will. Greet your Lord Captain, the rogue trader of House Von Valancius. Smile at the group. Your Lord Captain greets you, brave ones. Give them treats and escort them to their homes. Yeah, let's do this first. I'd like the first one. The second one better. The teenagers keep staring at you. A girl who has remained close to Argenta smiles uncertainly. A skinny pale lad tries to throw his shoulders back and stand at attention like a soldier. Only a few teenagers at the far end of the row seem sullen and not particularly impressed. So what? Why should we care? Our friends and parents died in their dozens for you noble lot, and you just give us speeches. Argenta quickly turns to the boy. A flurry of emotions flashes in her dark eyes, like she wants both to calm him and scold him for his impudence. Address the group. If you have anything to say them without fear. I will listen. Doesn't matter what we say, it won't bring our parents back, and it won't change our fates either. We'll keep slaving away on the ship until we drop and die like our folks, or worse. I understand your grief and misery, dismay. Your parents died. It's not easy to go through, but they gave their lives the truth. When the heretics who killed your parents attacked the ship, I was there, I took command, I fought, and I repelled the assault as quickly as I could. But no war can be won without losses. Okay. I like the first one. I understand your grief and dismay. Your parents died. It's not easy to go through. You heard the rogue trader. His words carry the wisdom of the Imperium. His. A little mistake there, I think. It's hard to say whether your words or not have left an impression on the boy, but he nods slowly. Abelard gives a sign, and the servants immediately emerge, carrying packaged treats with Von Valancius emblazoned on the wrappers. All get sweeties. I want some sweets too. They're just like sprinkling them on them. Just like showering them in sweets. Argenta rubs her temple pensively. She smiles and offers a few more words of encouragement, then leaves the bay. Okay. Okay. What else does Argenta have for us?
Greetings.
Tell me about the Adepta Sororitas.
Gladly. There are none more faithful to the God Emperor than my sisters. We fight against his enemies by the will of the Holy Ecclesiarchy. We... I beg your pardon, Rogue Trader. Here I am talking about what every lesser noble in the Imperium knows. So what exactly are you interested in hearing about?
They say the Adepta Sororitas are the fiercest in their faith among the warriors of the Imperium. Is it true?
It is. The Sisters of Battle are a fire lit by the God Emperor. They are the echo of his voice that travels through the dark expanses of the universe. We bring his wrath to heretics, mutants, and other enemies of humanity. We protect the faithful from the unholy and unhallowed. Sometimes with words. More often than not with a bolter.
Solves a lot of problems. Are all sisters truly as faultless as you say?
Even the novices of the Adepta Sororitas are drawn from among the most worthy. Those who have taken the vows and become a full-fledged sister are the best of the best, tested by trials of body and spirit. Yes, there have been cases when a sister stumbled or showed weakness, but do not expect to hear a story of depravity or downfall from me. Each such occurrence is a great tragedy for us all. Light cannot bear the smallest speck of darkness within. And thus those who have trespassed or shown weakness of spirit are given a chance at redemption. They are called Sisters Repentia, and may the enemy tremble before her. For nothing can stop a sister of battle who yearns to be cleansed of fault and weakness. Wearing nothing but robes, no armor, eviscerator in hand, those sisters who have once faltered find repentance on the battlefield. Their lives are seldom long, but a death in the name of purgation is a better fate than to live with a shadow in one's soul.
What order are you from?
Once I had completed my novitiate, I was sent to the Calixian branch of the Order of Our Martyred Lady, assigned to the Order's Pronatus. The Order's mission is vital and noble. The Sisters Pronatus protect great relics of the Imperium. We guard them, preserve them, escort them when they are brought onto the battlefield or presented for pilgrims to venerate. And we seek out the relics that have been lost. Neither a coven of heretics, nor the most wicked death world can deter Sisters Pronatus when their goal is to return a piece of the great legacy of the Imperium into the hands of the faithful.
You said you belong to the Calaxian branch of your order. What brought you to the Cronus Expanse?
The Order sent me to Footfall. My undertaking was to assist the local priesthood of Drusians in caring for a sacred reliquary that had been there since the time of Pastor Mr. Wayne, the station's founder.
Are there any other members of the Adepta Sororitas in the Cronus Expanse?
None that I'm aware of, but the Sisterhood's orders are many, and can operate independently of one another, sending their sisters wherever their presence is needed as deemed by the Ecclesiarchy. Perhaps somewhere in the Lord Inquisitor's retinue, may his path be blessed, my sisters perform their duty as we speak. I wish it were so. Even a single evening spent in joint prayer and training would bring me joy.
I have no more questions.
Should any more arise, keeping them to yourself would be imprudent. It is a virtue to take an interest in holiness.
Tell me about yourself.
About me? I am the Emperor's daughter and his servant. What else is there to tell about me?
More than that, how did you end up on Theodora's ship?
I first came here when I found myself in need of passage from Footfall to a remote planet. But I imagine what interests you is not that first journey, but rather what brought me aboard prior to the pirate attack. That story is complicated. It just so happened that I made a mistake. In a moment of laxity, I was ambushed by the accursed followers of the archenemy. I was badly wounded. Lady Theodora came to my aid and brought me aboard her ship, while her crew attended to me in my weakened state. It all happened not too long ago. I'd barely recovered from my wounds when the pirates struck. Truly, the servants of evil know no rest. There is no place where we can be safe from their machinations.
What happened to the people who wounded you? Did Theodora's men eliminate them?
Sadly, they did not. Lady Theodora was in a hurry and chose not to stay on the planet. Her people took me to a ship while I was unconscious, and when I came to my senses, we were already flying away. How I pray to come face to face with those heretics once more, and it's bound to happen someday.
You mentioned a mistake.
It happens even to the best of us.
It does, it does.
My mistakes are my burden to bear. I'll find a way to atone for them.
Where did this happen?
On one of the recently discovered planets in the Expanse. No one suspected that it had already been tainted by the filth of heresy. Had I known it beforehand, of course I would have been on my guard.
We could go to that planet and deal with them.
The path to that planet was lost. All the knowledge is gone, along with the previous navigator. It would take immense effort and resources to rediscover the route. The heir to the von Valanci's protectorate must have plenty of other issues to deal with right now. Perhaps later.
Yeah, I'd like to do it later.
When the skies above our heads have cleared.
No more questions.
As you wish.
Nice. Okay, so let's get the hell out of here. How do I... Lord Captain, the ship informed me of our imminent meeting. Oh, okay. How do I, Oh, right here. Yeah, that's right, that's right. Boom, right here. Cool. So where do we want to go next? What's this one? Machine Spirit Keeper. Urak. I think I want to go here. This is the guide. Is this the... Lord Captain, sorry to disturb. It's pandemonium outside the bridge gate. One of the officers seems to be demanding an audience with you in person. I think I hear Master Versarian's voice. In any case, I wanted to warn you in advance. What is happening aboard my ship? Love that chair. It's so good. What is banging? Something banging in my ship? The everyday sounds of the bridge are disturbed by voices raised in anger. Abelard's voice loudest of all. This is not the conduct of an officer. These are the antics of a highborn brat out on a lark. Explain yourself, Lieutenant. I apologize, sir, but I must speak to the Lord Captain. Very well, Lieutenant. You may address the Lord Captain, not least because I see you have already seen fit to disturb her. Your unauthorized appearance on the bridge and display of belligerence towards a higher-ranking officer will be logged in your personal file without delay. Lord Captain, Lieutenant Avril Vent, requesting permission to speak on a matter of extreme importance and urgency. I will listen to what you have to say. Speak, Lieutenant. This matter cannot wait. Any minute now, an assault unit will be dispatched to the lower decks on orders to crush the workers' strike by any means necessary. I am convinced that this step is unwarranted, and that this crisis itself was provoked by the actions of one of the senior officers. Abelard, in no hurry to intervene, lets out a skeptical huff. Lord Captain, I urge you to investigate the actions of the Seneschal Versarian, and to intervene in what's happening on the lower decks, because very soon we will have a mutiny or a massacre on our hands. There's an insurrection in the making aboard my ship, and no one has informed me. I would not deem it a problem worthy of the rogue trader's attention. The lower decks, as it so happens, are in revolt. Some 30 years ago, we even had a revolutionary leader rise up who dared to establish workers' rules across the entire ship. It took a month to restore order, but even 8 years later, we are still battling rumours of that the hero had survived his execution and was on the verge of gathering people to fight against the tyranny once more. Needless to say, the rumours were baseless. As far as the current situation, we have sufficient enforcers to deal with it. But on this ship, the word of the Lord Captain carries more weight than a salvo from 100 bolters. I'm sure that if the rogue trader addresses the malcontents directly, she will quell the unrest. I dread to think that what problem you will disturb the rogue trader with next. Perhaps you will ask the Lord Captain to break up brawls in the mess room. I've already given you the means to resolve this problem. You simply need to use them. If I may, your ladyship, sending a hit squad to crush the rebellion is a means of ignoring the problem, not solving it. Where does Seneschal Versarian come into all of this? I shall explain. I beg you to hurry, time is running out. I will not hurry since my competence is under scrutiny. I shall speak for as long as I see fit. There is an established order to the way things are done on the ship, and one of the pillars of that system is that the rogue trader's attention is not distracted by trivial matters. It is the Seneschal's role to ensure that I have always handled internal problems myself. So, of course, when I received information about cultists hiding on the lower decks, I took the matter in hand. So long as I live, not one of the vermin who murdered Theodora von Valancius will find refuge on her ship. You were far too heavy-handed, Seneschal Versarian. Arrests, interrogations, and mass punishments for entire sectors. It has driven the people to the brink. Now there is a strike on the lower decks, in Depot 4 to be precise. Worker clans are involved, but many more are passively supporting them. The situation could degenerate into an all-out insurrection, but when I reported my concerns, the only response I received was an order to dispatch an assault unit and crush the strike with maximum force. Abelard, what do you have to say on all of this? I see no need to add anything. I acted within the remit of my authority, guided exclusively by the best interests of your protectorate and your personal safety. If you wish to confirm the rectitude of my actions for yourself, I have no objections. For my part, I urge the Lord Captain to go down to the lower decks, stop the assault, and speak directly to the people. You will see that they are not lying or harbouring heretics. That way you will stop the uprising before it begins. I'm sure the Seneschal was acting within his authority, but I will verify the soundness of his decisions for myself. Throne preserve you, Lord Captain, I thank you for your support. An enterprise bordering on the sophomoric. But please yourself, Lord Captain, however, I categorically insist that I escort you. Uh-oh. We're going out as a squad, so this could turn nasty, huh? Oh, sorry, I had to press the button. Hey, it's Versarian. Take that, scum. Oh, did they just throw acid at him? Abelard reflexively wipes the sweat from his brow and in a startlingly human gesture. And a telling one, a rare moment where he allows his age and wariness to show through his armor-like veneer of self-assurance. The lower decks are a source of endless problems, sometimes I dearly regret that we cannot replace all the locals with servitors. Did you hear? They were shouting your name. Of course they were. The organization of a daily routine daily routine life of the ship rests upon my shoulders, the mountain of challenges and problems from which I endeavour to insulate you, Lord Captain. The situation on the X has been a cause for concern, and I have intervened personally on more than one occasion. That must be why they remember me. They do not know your face. To them, you are akin to a creature of legend, one who was stood on the steps of the Golden Throne, no less. Whereas I am the man whose name is attached to every order docking rations or lowering a bay's heating. Let's keep moving, we need to get to the bottom of this.
Intriguing.
Valve. What is that? Why are there valves? Lower deck rabble. Huge pipes. The arteries of the ship run through the many bays, delivering air, water, heat. Okay. The sound of a heated discussion reverberates through the ship's bays. Lieutenant Avrilla Vent of the ship's enforcers is barring a path to a heavily built assault unit officer. And judging by their expressions and tone, the standoff has been dragged on for some time already. Oh, I skipped dialogue, damn it. You can take your orders. Oh wait, I can go up one, can't I? I have my orders to put an end to the unrest and purge this sector. You can take your orders and shove them. This is my deck and my sector. There are only 3 people who can waltz in here without my express permission. The First Offer, the Rogue Trader, and the Emperor himself. So not all my lessons fall on deaf ears. Your Ladyship. We encountered some locals on our way here. Their conduct was outrageous. They even tried to throw things at us. These people are desperate, clearly. They saw the assault unit and they decided they had nothing left to lose. I mean, I apologize, Lord Captain. It is outrageous, but I'm sure people simply didn't recognize you. It wouldn't have occurred otherwise. We will deal with them once the current situation is resolved. What's the situation? Your Leadership, my people have locked down the bay where the strikers are, including their leaders. We have the situation under control as far as resources allow. I want to speak to the strikers. Right, you are, Lord Captain. Allow me to wish you good luck.
Powers unseen uncover my path.
Where is it? Over here? Oh, it's over here. Dozen pairs of eyes stare apprehensively at you. The people before you are typical inhabitants of the lower decks. You take in their simple clothing, crude weapons, and faces that display varying levels of mutation, from the barely discernible to the strange to the outrageously grotesque, outright grotesque. Who is this guy? Look at this guy here. A whisper passes through the crowd and you detect a mixture of fear, astonishment, and joy in their reactions. Finally, 3 people break away from the crowd, an elderly woman and 2 men. These must be the leaders. Lord Captain, you have come down to us. Tell me what is troubling you. Why are you striking? Striking? That's news to us, your ladyship. All we're doing is asking questions, saying what we think. Shut up, Rivet. Here's the deal, your ladyship. Your damned enforcers are all over us down here. They say we're looking for cultists. They say they're looking for cultists. One word, and they're reaching for their batons. If they want to punish someone, they turn off the heating to the whole bays for weeks at a time. So we get sick and freeze. In my clan, 2 little ones died from inflammation in their lungs, all because of those enforcers. Argenta does not interrupt the workers, but you see the sadness well in her eyes when the children's deaths are mentioned. It's all true. Vent is the only enforcer officer who stood up for us. It's clear as day who had a mother from the lower decks, and who grew up amidships, and has no fellow feelings towards us. Your ladyship, we are no villains here. We're honest workers, your servants. We plotted no disorder. We went on strike openly. And now I've got guns pointed at us. All we're doing is asking to be allowed to work in peace without being harassed. The persecution started apropos of nothing, you say. I was told that one of you was found in possession of a cultist amulet, and there are heretics hiding here. A cultist amulet, what's that? The Jugo they found on the dead drunkard. If it is something evil or forbidden, we sure didn't know. The enforcer just said they were looking for heretics among us, and anyone obstructing their investigation would be punished. But now there could be heretics here. We know our own people. There have been no new faces around. Definitely not, and if there were, we'd be the first to report them. And as for this amulet, or whatever it is, they took it off a dead body. There are no cultists still breathing in our sector, that's for sure, but when that fight broke out, some enterprising folks looted the bodies. The boots they came back with, nobody's ever tried to tread these decks in boots so fine, I can tell you that. Seems to me these cultists have better commanders than us. Oh yeah, these boots were really fine. And there were no harm in taking them, right? As for the amulet, it must have been pocketed by someone who didn't know any better. We don't need any amulets around here, we all worship the Emperor, and when we're working, we bow down before the machine spirits of the large and small transformers of the servo motor, Same way my grandfather was taught 100 years ago by a tech priest who came calling. Believe us, your ladyship, we are people of faith. Naive children, weren't you taught from an early age about the dangers of the arch-enemy's creations? Weren't you warned that any unfamiliar object could be one of them? We were told, Holy Sister, but it was long ago. The last time we saw a confessor in our sector, it was just after I had my third little one. That is regrettable, but you cannot lay the burden of leading a righteous life on the shoulders of the Holy Fathers. Who will you blame when beasts crawl out of those amulets you stole from heretics? The Holy Father who was not there, or the scavenger who brought evil down upon himself and his neighbours? We were attacked on the way here. How do you explain that? There's an explanation. Here's an explanation for you. The people have been pushed to their limit, and now they're lashing out, as if we don't know why these top deck units are being sent down here, like that one there. That the lieutenant won't let past. Our clans are all inside the bay. Our clans are all inside the bay that's been sealed off, but the lower decks are big. I'm sure some of the people who've just had about enough. Getting it from all sides, the soldiers have encircled the ones who've risen up. A death squad has just arrived. It's no wonder folks are lashing out. Awareness succeeded. Their words seem sincere to you. Their body language and the glances traded between them reveal that the news of the attacks has shocked them. What changes do you want? Would you look at this? The Exalted Lord Captain himself is asking us bilge rats what we want. Well, here's what. We want you to rein in your damned enforcers, to quit turning off the heat, to stop battering everyone that moves. No, that's not it. We want the enforcers gone from here, and we want to be armed. Give us arms and we'll govern ourselves. We'll defend ourselves if these cultists do show their faces. I've been leader of my clan for 20 years now. Getting rid of these club-wielding thugs can only improve things around here. You've gone too far, old Nan. They'll never let the maggots on the lower decks live without the enforcers breathing down their necks. They probably even insist on enforcers on the upper decks too. As for weapons, what do we need them for? Before the first day is out, we'll have someone shooting their neighbour out of stupidity or drunkenness. We don't need that. If the enforcers stop hassling us, that'll be enough. In return, we'll find the scavengers who robbed the cultist bodies, and we'll talk to them. One lower deck to another. If there are any more of these damned amulets about, we'll hand them over to the enforcers ourselves. You speak for yourself and your clan, and I'll speak for me and mine. I don't want empty gestures, I want real change. They'll promise us the world now, but as soon as the Anointed One turns her back, these brutes will be on us even harder than before. The tall worker's eyes dart between the two arguing leaders. Every few seconds he opens his mouth as if planning to agree, but each time falls silent, simply making a few vague noises. Coercion, 40. Spreading anarchy on the ship is the first step towards embracing chaos. Putting weapons into untrained hands would be even worse. What's more, the enforcers are needed to maintain oversight and order. Without those demands, withdraw those demands and we will consider the rest. Succeeded. Old Nan, listen. The Lord Captain herself has come down to us and is offering concessions, and I don't know a single person in the whole of Depot 4 who's ever stood next to the rogue trader, let alone talk to them. Back down. Now's no time for you to be stubborn. Listen to us, Old Nan. The three clans of Depot 4 ought to act as one. We've made up our minds. It's your turn to decide. Don't ask them to disband the enforcers or give us weapons. We don't need any of that. You two are ganging up on me. Is that it? So brave you are against an old woman. But I'll shut up. I will indeed. I won't go against two clan leaders on my own. If you want to make peace with the enforcers, make your peace. That's great. Just fantastic, Lord Captain. We're all agreed. Then it's decided. The persecution will stop and I will expect you to assist in locating any remaining amulets or weapons left behind by the cultists. Thank you, your ladyship. You have not abandoned us lower deckers. You came to yourself and settled everything. I'll tell my grandchildren about this. Of course, your ladyship will root out any nasty business faster than the enforcers and will leave no stone unturned. Easy. This is complete bedlam. Uh-oh. Mr. Abelard wasn't happy about that one.
Do you seek? I tread a path unexplored.
Let's get out of here, people. I have an urgent matter to discuss with the Lord Captain. Please give us a moment. Well, are you pleased with your investigation, Lord Captain? You no-toed to the disloyal rabble. That's weird. You believed their lies and showed them leniency. Next time the ship is attacked by cultists, that rabble will welcome them with open arms and allow them to wreak whatever havoc they like because they see you as a weak leader. Is that how you see your future at the helm of the Von Valancius Protectorate? Let's talk about your role in this instead. You allowed this revolt to happen, your actions practically guaranteed it would. I would have handled the situation myself had you not decided to intervene. Remember Lord Captain Theodora. Do you think she ever set one slippered foot into the lower decks? No, she did not. Such matters were left to myself and the junior officers while she dictated herself to her grand designs of the Protectorate, for the Protectorate, as any true strategist and rogue trader ought. Maybe if Theodora had spent more time on trifling matters, she wouldn't have wound up dead. Uh-oh. I would be only too willing to trust in my seneschal and not fill my head with such matters, but the situation had spiraled out of your control, Abelard. You're right, at least as concerns junior officers making complaints directly to you. And I lost my temper, Lord Captain. I do believe I ought to explain myself. The prosperity of the Von Valancius Protectorate is not just an empty phrase for me. I left the Imperial Navy for a chance to see it flourish. It was the most momentous decision of my life, and I did it because I saw in Lord Captain Theodora's deeds the sign of true greatness. Rogue traders do not simply forge new routes and capture worlds, they create order out of anarchy. That creative impulse was entirely lacking during my time in the military. So I left behind everything I had known, everything my family had known. I came from a long line of officers, and I embarked upon this incredibly reckless venture. Lord Captain Theodora entrusted me with all the concerns she had no time for. She would go off on her flagship for long periods, to distant frontiers, on voyaging scouts, and the advancement of the entire Protectorate rested on my shoulders. And then suddenly, everything that had been built over years and years began to quake, rattling like a flimsy hanger on a seismically active world. One of the senior officers betrayed us all, the rogue trader was killed, and who knows what is happening on the planets. I tell you this honesty without fear of appearing weak. All this has come as a grievous blow to me. I am not panicked, panicking or grievous because I cannot allow myself to panic or grieve. I am duty bound to aid the new rogue trader, to aid you, to find your footing as quickly as possible. And to that I must insulate you from the problems that in the past have been dealt with by tried and tested procedures set out in the ship's regulations. Procedures that were established long ago and have functioned smoothly for decades cannot suddenly be deemed excess to requirements. God, I've got a lot of responses here. Let's see. Theodora trusted in the established procedures, and she died. I don't want that one. I understand, but you need to learn how to respect me as your Lord Captain. No. The prosperity of the Von Valancia's protectorate is just as important to me. You're the only person who has comprehensive knowledge of how things run on the ship. I think in the future I will follow recommendations. I value what Theodora created, and I trust that the situation is an aberration of the ship's otherwise smooth operation. Since the established procedures are working, I see no reason to change them. I like 4. Theodora trusted in the established procedures and she died. I won't make the same mistake. If you want to keep building the future of the Von Valancia's protectorate with me, stop living in the past. You could do that one too. I understand, but you need to learn how to respect me as your Lord Captain and Rogue Trader. Accept it and start living in the new world. A world where Theodora is gone and where you and I have new decisions to make. I like that one too, actually. Let's go with that one. Yes, Lord Captain. Your resolve is admirable and demonstrates strong leadership. I'll remember this moment should my old habits ever begin to creep back in. Now please let us leave the lower decks. If the Rogue Trader desires to stretch her legs, there are far more suitable places. Fair enough. Can I land on this new planet now? Can we get on without more drama on my ship? Tell you what though, sometimes the load times take a while. Yeah man, there we go. Alright. Can you... Oh, sorry, I paused it, and that's my mistake. What is that banging noise? Somebody banging on my ship. Lord Captain reporting, the heralds of the Navis Nobilite continue to remain vox silence, perhaps due to Urak 5 being off limits to visitors. We intercepted signals from the beacons drifting in the station's orbit. The demands are clear. We are told to turn the ship around immediately. We've also detected an accumulation of space debris near the station's docks. Presumably it is the remains of interplanetary shuttles. Perhaps the esteemed Navis Nobilite House requires aid and therefore cannot respond. Contact the station again. I will negotiate personally. I am sorry, Lord Captain. The station does not reply even to an official greeting by the Rogue Trader. Okay. Turn back. No one dares give me orders. Order the Auger crew to scan the station. Yes, Lord Captain. The officers from the Auger crew formed a full scan of the station, but the information is imprecise. They note wave distortions of unclear genesis that are throwing off most of the readings. We are able to ascertain that the reactor core of the station is still active, but many compartments are unpowered and some fully depressurized. The signs of biological activity are largely present in the central module, which means the station has not been abandoned. So the question remains: why are the esteemed navigators heralds ignoring us? Order the crew to commence docking the station. Affirmative, Lord Captain. We do not know what is happening at the station, so you will have to look for the esteemed navigators blind. Dock safely, and may the God Emperor light your path. And also with you, I guess. I don't know how this works. Scan. Yes. Yes. Oh, this is a good sign. Yeah, yeah.
Pathetic worm. You dare to argue with your master?
It was not you whom I swore to serve within these walls. My lips are sealed.
Confess. What was the old man's last command? What are you planning?
Give up, Keeper. You have lost this battle. Again.
We're getting nowhere with these ones, sir. Permission to execute them.
Wretches, you will be consigned to oblivion for your transgressions against House Orcelio. Immortal Emperor, deliver your servants from the peril. Prayers will not help you, servant of the damned. Okay. The name of House Orcelio commands you to execute the infidels. Not the infidels. Jeez. Just a shotgun straight to the face, he aches. Not a step further. Master, we have some strange guests on the station. Strange? Felek Orcelio. A tall man stops you with a gesture when you approach. Blood is trickling down the pearly scales of his wary face. And not just his own blood. Two jet black unblinking eyes are watching your every move, and the third one, the mark of a navigator's fate, is menacingly pulsing behind the lowered lid in the middle of his forehead. Step back, or I will unleash the horrors of the Sea of Souls upon you. Emperor, be my witness. Abelard, if you would be so kind. I kind of want to see what he does and what he says. Desist, brother. It was Emperor's will that brought me to this abode. Keep talking to me this way and I will make you swallow your own tongue. I like that one. You still dare to insult me. Ah, but I do recognize this coat of arms. You are from the von Valancius dynasty. This explains a lot, more than you think. And since the fate has brought such an important person to my abode, allow me to introduce myself. Before you stands Felek Christoph August, keeper of this station. So, you did not come to offer support to the traitors. This is great news. Having said that, you must understand that Urek 5 is a holy sanctum for House Orcelio, and the path to it is only revealed by a select few. It pains me to say you are not on the guest list. The navigator looks at his guard and winces. The soldiers are quivering as if their tormented flesh were being flayed. Yet they keep clutching their weapons. Provide me with a navigator and I will immediately depart the station. I do not think this is possible. Urek 5 is an observation station. We do not sign contracts and do not provide navigators. We delve into the depths of the infinity and chart the movements of the warp storms. Besides, you have chosen an inopportune time for negotiations. I'm looking for the Lord Inquisitor's interrogator, one Heinrichs von Kalox. The Lord Inquisitor's interrogator? I think I would know if such an important individual decided to pay us a visit. Why would a keeper of the station command vile mutants condemned by the Emperor? The blame lies with Theobald Orcelio, the second keeper of Urek 5. The old man was a great navigator, but he could no longer control his powers. I begged him to retire, but it was too obsessed with our mistress, Lady Cassia. His madness and stubbornness spelled doom for the entire station, for he opened his third eye in a fit of rage and unleashed the horrors of the warp on those who displeased him. The Theobald, I knew would never have used his powers in such a reckless manner. This will be difficult to explain to the uninitiated, but I'm going to try. The warp currents in the system have been tumultuous for dozens of cycles and have worn the veil between our world and the Immaterium thin and frail, at least here on the station. The ruinous powers are trying to tear it down and completely corrupt all living things. As if on cue it shakes. The servants were the first to fall victim to it. All their bodies morphed, and the pain and despair drove the poor souls mad. The lunatics look at my mistress, prisoner and almost destroyed the station, but I rallied the few who still followed the light of the Golden Throne to set things right. The Lord Navigator here is speaking the unvarnished truth. I bet this station is full of voices and whispers, all trying to break through from the other side, waiting for you to reach out and swing the door wide open. I sincerely hope the influence of the Immaterium has not yet affected your body and your soul. Uh-oh. With all due respect, I advise you not to remain at the station. Return to your void ship. I need to save Lady Cassia. If you are not willing to help, or indeed risk your life, you must leave now. Take him by force. Do not care for your mistress. I am looking for a navigator, and you will do. Okay. Attack. Your words are rife with disrespect. I will not tolerate it. I love these responses. This is great. What kind of help are you talking about? I would never ask you for such a favor under different circumstances, and yet Lady Cassia's well-being is above all. I haven't got many people left, and my wounds are too deep for me to act with precision and swiftness, but you may actually succeed. In order to ascend to the mistress's chambers, you will need to remake a holy relic sanctified with the blood of Lady Orcelio herself. This is the control rod for the elevator machine spirit. I have one part, and the other was lost during the mutiny. But even this relic will be of no use unless the elevator mechanism is powered. How do I remake the control rod? I have a phylactery containing the mistress's blood. It needs to be taken to the laboratory, which is located behind one of the reliquary doors. The most ancient of sacred mechanisms will help to rebuild the rod. The tech priest ceaselessly performs the rites of appeasement, so the machine spirit would serve the house in its time of need. The fateful hour is now upon us. How am I supposed to power the elevator? The station's main cogitator... is it cogitator? No. Cogitator. Sorry, the station's main cogitator is situated in the guard room. Just enter the correct command sequence and the sacred mechanism. I will do the rest. I guess that makes sense. So what have you decided? Descendant from the von Valancius line. I will rescue your mistress, but in return I require the House Orcelio sign a contract with my protectorate. So be it. Hurry, the mistress's safety is all that matters. But should you fail, our arrangement is finished. Okay. Cool. What a guy's got to do to get hold of a
embrace true power.
Navigator. So, sorry, where am I going exactly? Over here. Oh, what's this? Loot. I see loot. I love that, by the way, that you can move the camera on the map, the mini map. That's such a nice little touch. I saw loot. Where did it say loot?
Let's seize the opportunity.
Over here? Ah, goods, right there. Here we got a multi-key. Wonderful. So I gotta get over here? This way. Through here, maybe. Aha.
Nothing's impossible for this old officer.
Good man. And we leveled. You've
my
got
mark
to absolutely...
upon the galaxy.
We are look at this. We are flying through the levels. What is this? Okay, for me... I might go willpower here. Boost my willpower a little bit. Maybe we keep stacking that toughness, you know? Yeah, you know what? Let's keep stacking this toughness. Let's see what happens here. And what have we got? A common talent. 50% parry bonus is really nice. Puts it up to 75% parry. Okay. Combat Master, yeah, that one's also nice. Let's see. This one's nice as well. While under 40% wounds, Imperial World character gains plus 10 bonus to all characteristics to resolve. This is actually really good. Imperial World characters gain 10% critical hit chance and 10% armor against Xenos and demonic creatures. It's great, it's just against Xenos and demonic creatures only. I mean, I haven't faced any of those yet, except like maybe 1 or 2. So that'll be it for this episode. If you enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next one.